All right. Again, thank you all for joining us this evening. This is for the dual enrollment orientation for the school year 25-26. So now at this time, I'll introduce some of the dual enrollment advisors and have the ones that are here tonight introduce themselves. Ms. Iris Hilliard is our dual enrollment advisor at Alvin High School. Ms. Judith Hurtado is our dual enrollment advisor at Iowa Colony. Patrick?
Hello, I'm Patrick Morton at Shadow Creek.
Good evening, I'm Diane Thompson. I'm the dual enrollment advisor at Mayville High School.
Dr. Carrie L. Lyles is the dual enrollment advisor at Turner College and Career High School.
I'm Christina Martins. I'm the dual enrollment advisor at Pearland High School and Dawson High School.
And my name is Sharma Archie, and I'm the homeschool private school advisor. And also Miss Judith Hurtado is now the Danbury High School advisor as well. Main campus contacts. Dr. Jessica Renero Ramirez is our Dean of College Access and Partnerships. She is now in our ACC West location. Myself, I am located on the main campus. Michaela Canales Geiger is our dual enrollment specialist. She's located on the main campus, as well as Miss Linda Smith, our senior administrative assistant. All right, understanding pathways and course types. So when students decide that they're interested in dual enrollment, they have two pathways that they can really choose from. Here in Alvin ISD, we offer the academic college courses, which are part of the core curriculum, the Englishes, the maths, the sciences, the psychology, histories, governments, and we also offer technical dual enrollment classes through our J.B. Hensler School that is only offered in Alvin ISD. Danbury ISD, they offer academic courses as well, and we have a business technical certificate there. And with Pearland ISD, we offer the academic dual enrollment course classes as well through Pearland ISD. Academic courses transfer to universities. There is an agreement that we have across the state of Texas that if a student attends a Texas public college or university and they earn a grade of C or higher, that class will automatically transfer. Technical classes, such as like our EMT courses, our farm tech courses, those classes do not transfer to the universities. Some can transfer with the other community colleges. All right, understanding the difference between a dual degree and dual enrollment courses. So when advisors meet with students, we ask the student what is their plan. Are they interested in just taking some college courses to get ahead? Preferably 15 credit hours, which ends up being one semester at a college or university, or are they interested in actually earning their dual degree, which is actually 60 credit hours? So students that are interested in taking a college course can earn both college credit and high school credit at the same time for that one course. And those courses can be academic or technical. And dual enrollment students will never register themselves. They will always go through their ACC dual enrollment advisor that is on their high school campus to get registered in their college courses. So dual degrees are a great opportunity for students. It allows students to complete up to 60 college credit hours while in high school, and they're able to earn an Associate of Arts degree in General Studies. So basically, this degree is the students completing their basics. So when a student gets to the university level, they will have 2 years under their belt. So to get a bachelor's degree is a 4-year degree, and it's typically around 120 credit hours or more. And the student can complete half of that while they're in high school. So again, their Englishes, their governments, their histories, their science courses, and so forth. In order for students to be on track to get this degree, they will have to self-disclose that information to their dual enrollment advisor. So students, you will need to tell your dual enrollment advisor that you are interested in earning an associate's degree so that they can map out a plan for you to complete that degree while you're in high school. If you are interested in a dual degree, you need to meet with your dual enrollment advisor yearly before the start of your course selection process. Okay, so understanding the college course numbering system. So an example to my left, maybe your left or right, the English 1301 class. English is the department for the class that the student is taking. That 1 in the number indicates the college level. So a 1 is freshman level, a 2 is sophomore level. At a community college, students will only take freshman and sophomore classes. So that 1 indicates freshman level. That 3 indicates the number of credit hours for that course on the college side. So if a student takes English 1301, they can earn 3 credit hours of English on the college side. And depending on districts, that 3-hour course can translate to 1 hour on the high school side or a half a credit on the high school side. Another example is the biology 2401. That biology is the department up under which the course is taken. That 2 indicates that the student is taking a sophomore level course, and this is anatomy and physiology. And that 4 indicates that the student will earn 4 credit hours, 4 college credit hours. So 3 of those hours would be a lecture, and 1 of those hours would be a lab. Okay, so this is an example of how students could earn their Associate of Arts degree in General Studies. Now, again, this is just an example. This is not the only way, and we have some flexibility. This is merely a plan that we will plan out for students, but as things change or as students take different courses, this plan is not the only set plan. We tailor the plan to the students' needs and the classes that the students wants to take. So for instance, if you look at this chart, all the courses that are in black are high school courses. So a student, 9th grader going into high school will take English 1. They could take Algebra 1 or Geometry. If they were in the MAP program, they could be at Algebra 2, Biology, World Geography, PE. And then those 4 classes in red, those are dual enrollment classes. So students can, take those 4 classes. We typically start students out with a class in 9th grade in the fall and the spring. Those that are, eager and overachievers that want to take 2 classes, that is possible, but we like to allow students to adjust to high school. So typically students may only have 3 or 4 classes completed by the time they're going to their junior year and could possibly be on track. If students decide to take classes in the summer, they could be further ahead, but keep in mind, students must have a minimum of 5 classes their senior year. So it's important that they pace themselves as well when earning this degree. Again, students will work with their ACC advisor to get a schedule that best fits that student. With extracurricular activities, it takes time to learn to balance those classes and manage your time. So we like to ease students into the program and then on the back end, kind of load them with more classes their junior and senior year. We have academic transfer pathways available for business majors, science, math majors, education. So again, just speak with your dual enrollment advisor and she can discuss or he can discuss those options with you. And then this is just an example of our Alvin ISD certificate pathway. Students are able in Alvin ISD to complete a pharmacy tech level 1 certificate. So as you can see, the students start taking classes, dual enrollment classes, their junior year towards this certificate. However, there are some prerequisite courses that students must take 9th and 10th grade year that are on the high school side. So students must take Principles in Health Science 9th grade year and Health Science Theory 10th grade year in order to be eligible to even take to do the pharmacy tech program. And students can earn up to 33 credit hours in this program by the time they graduate high school, as long as they're passing their classes with C's or better. So again, we have 4 other certificate pathways now. All of them don't allow you to complete the level 1 certificate, but there's a dual enrollment sequence that students can complete. So we offer culinary arts, we offer EMT, emergency medical technician, computer maintenance, welding, and farm tech. So if your student is interested in any of these, they would need to see their high school counselor to talk with them about getting these prerequisites done before starting dual enrollment. And also at Danbury High School, we have a business certificate that is offered there.
Okay, so we're going to go over some frequently asked questions that we have about the program. So our courses are taught by ACC professors or teachers that are credentialed through ACC to teach the classes. And so the students will take those on their campus right alongside their other high school classes. They'll take their college classes. There's a couple exceptions to that rule. When the seniors get to be, or when students get to be seniors and they do their sciences, they might take that class off campus at our J.B. Hessler Institute. But for the most part, their students are taking them right alongside their high school classes. The advisors are housed on campus. I, for example, am in the Shadow Creek campus 4 days a week, and other advisors are on, depending on how many campuses they cover, several days a week. There's always office hours where the students can contact us. Dual enrollment classes are not AP. So advanced placement classes are taught at the high school with an end of year exam that determines whether or not they get college credit. Dual enrollment classes are college classes that earned college credit as they go through the semester. So there's at the end of the semester when they earn a grade, that is their college credit. AP courses are usually weighted a little bit higher than GPA in their GPA than dual enrollment courses are in AISD and Pearland ISD. So there is the students that go to a 4-year university or a 2-year university after graduating. They have the 6-drop rule, where they cannot drop more than 6 classes during the lifetime of their program. But students in dual enrollment are exempt from that. So that doesn't start until they go after they graduate and they are no longer dual enrollment students. Dual enrollment class attendance is mandatory. Students may have to make some choices on whether academics or extracurriculars are what they want to go for. Definitely talk to their advisor and their high school advisor to help them see what their choices might be. The classes, though, they have the same expectations, the same outcomes as any class that is taught on the ACC campus for any other ACC students. The work and study expectations are that they are going to study as they are college students. Access to the ACC Dual Enrollment Student Handbook can be found on our Dual Enrollment website. It's got a lot of great information in there. We'll tell you, it'll reiterate the answers to these questions, and I'll give you a lot more great information. So, once again, these are the questions we get all the time. But students do not register themselves. They go through their dual enrollment advisor to register the students. That counts for summer as well. So if students want to take summer classes, they should be in contact with their dual enrollment advisor early and make sure that they are understanding that classes don't stay around forever. Fall and spring registration, students will pick out their courses with their high school counselor during the course selection, and they will be registered based on what is in Skyward. So we will put students in their ACC classes based on what they have on their Skyward schedule. Fall registration happens in July. So we're just gearing up for it here. We'll be doing it here in a couple of weeks, and then spring happens in December. Students will be sent an email notification once they are registered with information on how to pay online with ACC. It's pretty simple. Summer registration, now, once again, we just went through summer registration, so I got some pointers for you. Students can take summer courses starting the summer before their 9th grade year. So if they're in 8th grade and are a rising 9th grader, they are able to take classes that summer in between. They just need to talk to their dual enrollment advisor and let them know that they want to talk to them. It's important that they try to contact them through their ACC email address when they make these requests, just so it happens to align with the records. Summer course registration opens in April. So we've had a lot of students talking about what's available in summer 2. Well, summer 2 has been open since April 2nd, and so there's not a whole lot available in summer 2. So just so you're aware that getting around to near the end of the school year and trying to contact your advisor at the end of the school year for your summer courses, your selection is going to maybe be a little limited, because students that are really on the ball will be talking to their advisor sometime around spring break to get their courses set for summer and to make sure that they're getting the classes that they want. Next thing we'll go over is what is a syllabus. So every course will have a syllabus. An instructor will make one and make it available for all the students. It is basically it is the core of the course, the outline of the information about the course you're taking, the information, what the course is about, the outcomes that they want, the name, the instructor's name and contact information, including their office hours. All instructors have office hours where students are allowed to contact them, so please use those office hours. The textbook information, the objectives of the course, the due dates and the assignments are laid out in the syllabus. How to submit their assignments, that'll be often through our online system Blackboard. The attendance, grading, and late work policies. The academic dishonesty statement, all classes will have that. No cheating, of course. College resources available for success. So we do have some tutoring that's available for our dual enrollment students as much as it is for any other ACC student. And then we have a helpful link there to look up the course syllabus. So all syllabuses are required to be online and you're able to access them. College grades are reported in our Blackboard system, so students should refer to Blackboard to read their grades for their college courses, not the high school reporting system. So there are basically two sets of grades. The college grade is weighted in the AISD or in the school district system. So the grades that they receive for college are on their college transcript. The grades that receive for high school are in their high school transcripts. Students are responsible for keeping track of grades, so they're responsible for logging onto Blackboard often and early and keeping track of how their assignments are going, what the feedback they're getting from their professors. In college courses, it is not unusual to have only 4 graded assignments in the semester. So I know that you often get a lot of you have the quarterly reporting that is due for throughout the semester for grades. For college classes, a lot of times the professors will leave those assignments open so the students can complete them, and so they'll only have the 4 graded assignments for the semester, just to kind of give them an idea of where they are in those at those deadlines. Dual enrollment advisors do not have access to your grades. I've asked that all the time, but no, I do not know what your grade is at any given time. Always communicate concerns regarding grades directly with your professor. Once again, I don't have access to your grades. I can't really help diagnose what's going on. The first step you always have to do when you have a problem or an issue with your grade or a question about your grade is to communicate with your professor. They're there to help you understand what they're grading upon, what their rubric might be, and how to help you get a little bit better grade. Communicating with your professor. So once again, professors are available to you. They have office hours. They make themselves available to the students sometimes immediately after class, but the students should always communicate through their college email to their professors in a respectful way. So email is our official form of communication through ACC. It's generally the best way to communicate with your professor. There's a written record of it that way, but don't do the, hey, I was wondering about this, or the bro, what does that assignment do? Please address them, Mr., Miss, Doctor, Professor, give them their title. Students that do the extracurricular activities and have to miss a class, they need to inform their professor as early as they can in the semester, and do it through their email as well. Do use your ACC email. Once again, that's our official form of communication. That way there is always a trail, and that way, you're letting your professor know when you might be out, and that you can coordinate when you might be able to make it up an assignment, that sort of thing. Students should always communicate with their professors with any assignment issues. If you're having issues submitting things, or if you're not quite sure why you earned that grade, or maybe you're might need to miss an extra class than you're allowed to, please communicate with your professor. They're there for you. I can't stress it enough that they're a resource for you to use. But you got to give them a little bit of time sometimes to get back to you. So give them at least a business day to get back to you. 24 to 48 hours is our general response time. And once again, kind of think of that in business days. Always speak with your professor about a concern you may have in the class first. And parents, please allow your students to advocate for themselves first. This is their time where they're going to really start to need to start stretching their wings and flapping away. And it can be a little bit tough to see them maybe do this, but it'll also show you that they're able to handle themselves. And believe me, they'll surprise you how proud they can make you. So any students having any course concerns regarding the curriculum, grades, assignments, first contact the instructor. Once again, going back to the last slide, they're your first point of contact. Once again, give them a day or two to respond to your and a week to correct it, okay, before moving on to the next step. If the issue cannot be resolved, that's when you talk to the department chair. That's the next step above. Hopefully it doesn't happen that way, and hopefully you never even have to worry about this. If a student is unsuccessful and parental involvement is warranted, we need to have a FERPA release on file. FERPA is the Federal Education Rights and Privacy Act of 1974, guarantees that your student has a certain amount of privacy from anybody, including their parents, even if they're a minor. And so if we could get that affidavit on file, that means we can talk to you freely about their record. Otherwise, we can maybe give you just the directory information about stuff. ACC advisor cannot assist with grades, assignments, curriculum, or classroom-specific concerns. I'm not in the classrooms. I don't know some of these classes I would never have taken, but so I don't know what's going on in there. So the concerns have to be addressed with the instructor and the department chair directly, okay? But definitely start with the instructor. That's the way to go. That's the way to start.
Let's still you, Patrick.
Oh, I don't have this one. Okay. Sorry about that. So withdrawing from the course. Once the college course begins, students are not allowed to move to a different section. So the first day of class, they're locked in. You have this choice to stay in the class or drop it, but you have to do it by the withdrawal deadline. It is better for a student to drop a course than receive a F on their college transcript, which will impact their college GPA that follows them through their high school. So can't stress this enough, is that they're starting the process that a lot of students will begin doing an 18 or 19-year-old, and that's a thing that a lot of them are more mature and ready for. But if they're starting classes at 14, this is the beginning of that college transcript that's going to follow them, and so they have to treat this seriously. And if they're having issues that they need to and maybe aren't going to pass the class, definitely talk to your advisor, withdraw from the class, get into the high school equivalent. Don't ruin your GPA. Just getting your high school diploma is our number one priority here. Dual enrollment students are not required to stay in dual enrollment courses. If you need to drop, they can find a replacement course for you. Withdrawals or drops do not, once again, they don't count towards the 6 drop limit that they will have after they stop being dual enrollment students. To withdraw from a course, you need to talk to your ACC advisor and your high school counselor before the withdrawal deadline. There's a couple other things you need to do. They'll walk you through it, but the withdrawal deadlines are on the academic calendar for every semester that we have. If you have any question of when it might be, please ask your advisor when the withdrawal deadline is, and open that communication. If you're struggling, I always like to say, it's like being in quicksand. If you are trying to get yourself out of it, you're probably going to sink further and further down. You need to call for help and have someone help pull you out of it. So as soon as you know that you're in trouble, please communicate with somebody about these issues. When you drop a course, your current grade follows them into the next course. So if you are receiving a 50% in the class and you realize you're not going to be able to pull it up into that B that you wanted, and you drop the class, the 50% will be your starting grade in your replacement course. And you can find this information in the course selection guide. The withdrawal deadline for the fall is November 20th, so be thinking after Halloween, but before Thanksgiving. And the spring withdrawal deadline is a little bit after spring break there, right in the middle of April. Think about tax day.
All right, I'm going to speak with y'all a little bit about the FERPA, Federal Education Rights and Privacy Act. Mr. Morton touched on that a little bit. And for parents who are with us this evening, it does seem a little bit counterintuitive because we're talking about students who are minors. And in the public school setting, a parent has access to every single thing about the student. For parents to be able to speak to the professor about their student grades or assignments, or even to have that conversation with an advisor, the students must complete a student record release in the pod. That is something that students can do online in their pod account. I believe we also have paper forms if the student wants to do that. To complete the student record release, students can log into their pod account under students and then self-service. Click the account name on the top right. There, students can enter the name of the individuals that they wish to share their college information with and assign that individual a PIN number. The individual must have that PIN number with them at the ready when contacting the college about the student's information. My experience has been that the advisors will be helpful with the parents as much as we possibly can without breaking the law. A lot of the information that you might need, like your student's ACC ID number, generally speaking, your student can share that with you. So ACC dual enrollment academic standards. This is a slide that we have to talk about that maybe is not the most pleasant in the world. ACC expects that dual enrollment students will maintain a 2.0 GPA. The college cumulative GPA grade point average is calculated at the completion of each semester. Students whose cumulative college GPA is below a 2.0 will be placed on probation and may be subject to suspension from enrolling in additional dual enrollment courses for one long semester, fall or spring. So for a student who's planning on completing a 60-hour degree program, if you are placed on suspension for one long semester, that is going to make it exceedingly difficult for you to complete a degree. So our expectation is that our students maintain a 2.0 or better. Students placed on probation or suspension will meet with their advisor to complete a dual enrollment academic improvement plan. If the semester GPA remains below a 2.0, the student can be suspended from taking dual enrollment courses. If the student is placed on suspension from dual enrollment or does not agree with the dual enrollment academic improvement plan, they can appeal this to the dual enrollment academic probation committee. Generally speaking, when I've met with students in this situation, it is not a surprise, and we work diligently to get them off of probation so that we actually never have to go to suspension. For foreign language and math classes, a grade of C or higher is required to move on to the next level of foreign language or math and to guarantee transferability of core courses. So if you are an incoming ninth grader and you are planning on taking Spanish 1411, dual credit Spanish 1, in order to move on to the second semester, dual credit Spanish 2, you have to get a C or higher for the first semester. That's really the impact for most of our first-time dual enrollment students. All right, continuing on with the academic standards, we do have an automatic withdrawal policy for students who are placed in an alternative school or facility due to disciplinary reasons when that placement exceeds 1 week. The student will be automatically withdrawn from their dual enrollment courses and assigned a W for each course. So if you have to go to an alternative placement setting for longer than 5 days, you will be dropped from your dual enrollment courses. Students remaining enrolled during the 1 week placement are responsible for all assignments missed and will be held to any grading penalty incurred due to the attendance policy of the courses. So if you find yourself in that situation, you will need to be in communication with your professors. Students may appeal the automatic withdrawal by completing the dual enrollment disciplinary withdrawal appeal request form. So generally speaking, when your advisor finds out that this is a situation for you, they will likely reach out and say, hey, here's that withdrawal appeal request form if you want to pursue it. We do have a homebound policy for students entering a semester on homebound status. Now, again, homebound status, that is something that you've worked out with your physician, and usually the ISD is included on it as well. Those students should just enroll in online classes. And again, loop in your advisor. Students enrolled in a college class on the high school campus who require homebound status during the semester. So let's say you start in August, but then in October, you have to go to homebound. The student could withdraw from the college course prior to the withdrawal deadline. The student could receive permission from the faculty member to continue under the faculty member's guidelines. In that case, the student would be responsible for assignments missed and would be subject to any grading penalty incurred due to the attendance policy of the course. The student could also receive an incomplete grade in the class if the faculty member deems it appropriate. Generally speaking, when a student's on a homebound situation, you'll need to be in touch with your advisor and also your professors so that we can really find the best fit for your situation. All right, here we go. More academic standards. So a course grade appeal. Students can submit a course grade appeal for the final course grade. So we're not talking about any of the grades that lead up to your final grade. We're talking about the actual grade that would appear on your transcript. So the grade appeal is not for individual grades issued while in the course. Again, I think Mr. Morton talked about this. You need to go back and have a conversation with your professor, look at the course concerns for individual grade concerns. A student has 1 year from the date a final course grade is assigned to submit a grade appeal. A student is not permitted to submit a grade appeal because of a general dissatisfaction with the grade, when a penalty has been assigned to a grade, or due to the outcome of a course as the result of a grade. Disagreement with the instructor's professional judgment of the quality of the student's work and performance shall not be permitted as the basis for a grade appeal. During an appeal, the student is required to meet with the instructor for discussion and to seek a resolution. If a resolution does not occur at that level, then the student may appeal to the dean and then to the VPI for further consideration. A course grade appeal can be obtained there. It's a link to the website. I would strongly recommend, if you decide you need to pursue a grade appeal, most of the time, my students will not start with their professor. They'll come to me. We'll have a discussion about it, and I will sort of guide them through it. Here's the conversation you need to have with your professor. So understand that your advisor is willing to help you and advise you if you are in this situation, but your dual enrollment advisor really and truly is not part of the formal grade appeal process. All right, parent tips to aid in student success. So again, this is an opportunity for parents to kind of encourage their little fledgling birds to leave the nest. As scary as it is, we want to have a safety net for them, but we also want to encourage them to fly. Parents, make sure you review the course syllabus with your student. All of the course syllabi are available online. They don't have to log into their pod account. Parents, recognize that your role as it's related to education at this point, when they start college classes, it's going to shift from primary advocate to secondary advocate when your student is enrolled in college courses. So we want you to encourage your student to advocate for themselves. This is a great time to learn advocacy skills before they go off to a larger college or university. We want you to encourage independence and problem solving with your students. Allow your student the opportunity to solve any academic concerns. Parents, there is great value in productive struggle. Even though it may be hard to see, you know, having that productive struggle in high school is valuable long term. Help your students prepare for possible challenges that may arise throughout the year. Definitely time management. They may need your support in time management. Encourage your student to be engaged and aware in class. This one is one that sometimes parents struggle with. Understand that sometimes a straight A high school student or a straight A junior high student may earn their first C in a college level course. That can happen. Help your student communicate with the professor in a professional and respectful way. And y'all, this last one on the page is mine. I feel like it is so important. If there's one takeaway from this presentation, we want students to check their college email daily. Students need to check that ACC email daily. And then finally, student accessibility services, course accommodations. So your student or you may receive course accommodations currently. If you receive class accommodations via a 504 plan or an IEP on your high school campus, then it is the student's responsibility to request accommodations with the college. This is an activity that the students have to drive. Accommodations in college are different than they are in high school. Students need to complete the accommodation paperwork 2 to 3 weeks prior to the beginning of the semester. Once the student has set this up with the Student Accessibility Services Office, students would have to contact that office every semester to verify that they would still like to use their accommodations. You can start that process during the summer, right? ACC is open during the summer. You can contact Student Accessibility Services. I would strongly encourage you, if you and your student are going to start the Student Accessibility Services course accommodation option, students, you want to go ahead and fill out that FERPA waiver so that your parents can be part of that conversation with Student Accessibility Services.
Okay, I have the next section. The first thing we're going to talk about is logging into the pod. So this is really important. This is how you get into your classes online. Blackboard is in the pod. Your ACC email is in the pod. So to get to the pod, you go to our ACC webpage, and then you click on that button at the top that says the pod. And then, well, okay, we go into the pod. Oh, okay, so if you don't know how to get into the pod or you've never heard of this, go back to the email that was sent to you whenever you applied from ACC that has your ACC ID number, your access ID, your email address. All of that was in your welcome email. And then also you may have been sent an actual physical copy of this in your welcome packet to dual enrollment. So either one of those, that's where you go back and refer to how you set up your pod. But make sure you get this done before classes start, because you don't want to have to go to IT and figure all this out after classes start. So you want to make sure you're in there, you know where Blackboard's at, and you know where the email box is at. Okay. Okay, so here's an example of what the email looks like. So if you don't remember getting this email, you make sure, look in your junk folder, look in your spam, because it should be in there from when you applied to the college, and you'll need this information to set up your pod account. So still about logging into the pod, if you tried to set it up yourself and you just can't get it to work, you can call the IT help desk and they'll help you set up a password. That usually is the issue that students are having trouble with, is setting up their temporary password. So if you just call them and say, I need help setting up my password for the pod, they'll give you a temporary password and you'll log in, and then it immediately tells you to set up your own password. And then another issue that some students may have is setting up their email box. So once you get into the pod and you click on your email, there's a download or an app you have to download for authentication purposes. So if you can't get that to work or you need any assistance with that, you can call the IT help desk and they'll help you with it. Okay, this is just telling you if you forget, because we send you an email whenever you're registered for your classes. So for fall, we're going to send you an email probably the end of July or the beginning of August that tells you you've been registered, these are your classes, this is how you pay for your classes. But if you can't find that email and you remember you need to pay, this is how you would pay. You just go to our website. You don't have to log into the pod. You just go to the drop down for paying for college and go to make a payment. And so just remember that the first payment for your fall classes is going to be due August 19th. And you're going to be able to access this if you need to. We'll have a PDF copy of this on our website, so you'll be able to click these links that you see throughout this presentation. Okay, so a lot of you will have textbooks that are part of your class electronically, and that's going to be through the ebook or red shelf section of the class in Blackboard, and that's how you'll access the book. But if you don't have that, then you may need to purchase your book through our bookstore. And it is on, you can access the bookstore online, order the book online, or you can go in person to ACC to get the book. And that's just information about how to find the bookstore online. It is one of the links on our website, and that's their schedule that they're open. And I think they're also closed Fridays in the summer, so they won't be back to the schedule until the second week in August. Okay, understanding the TSI. So a lot of you may have already done all the sections of the TSI, but if you haven't, this is just to remind you about what the TSI is and the scores that are required to be in certain classes. So some classes you don't have to pass any level of the TSI, you just have to take it. Other classes you have to pass the English ELAR section, which is the multiple choice with the essay. And other classes, just the math classes, you'll have to pass the math section. So it's a placement test that students have to take, even if they're graduating high school, they have to take this test to get into college or have an exemption like an SAT or ACT. And I want to remind everybody, I think Mr. Morton mentioned this, we have free tutoring for students. So not only if you need to retake a TSI section, you can go see a tutor because you are technically a student with us. You can go get a tutor session before you retake your TSI, or if you're struggling in your class. We have free in-person and online tutoring. The computer and printer access is if you go in person in the learning lab, you also have computer and printer access. And then information there and workshops on academic success strategies. But the learning lab is where you would set up your tutoring with a tutor. And it's that they pretty much have, I think, a tutor in all of the sections, except maybe not the technical courses, but most of the academic courses, you can get tutoring help with an actual person on ACC's campus or online. Sorry, excuse me. And then sorry. We also have an online tutoring that's called Peer Deck, and that's 24/7 access through Blackboard. And then you also have your professor. Don't be scared to reach out to your professor because they are really the best ones to help you, learn about your class. But if for whatever reason you can't get to them, or but maybe you're having an issue getting the material from them, like you're just not getting the way that they're teaching it, which does happen. Like not everybody gels in the same way. If that's you and you're just like, I can't understand it, you need to recognize that, and we'll help you connect with a tutor on campus, because you do need to make sure you understand the material to move forward in the class. What is FAST financial aid? So some students will be able to qualify for FAST financial aid or financial aid swift transfer through the Department of Higher Ed. This allows public institutions to offer courses to educationally disadvantaged students at no cost. So to qualify for this, you have to have been on free or reduced lunch in one of the 4 years before you enroll in your dual credit course. So if you were on free or reduced lunch this last year and you started it in August, you wouldn't qualify for this summer, but you would qualify for the fall, because that whole year will be one of the years required. It's kind of hard to understand, but we have all of this on our website. And what happens is we register you for your class, we send your information to the state, and they tell us if you qualify because they have all of the information on free or reduced lunch. Also, to be part of this program, you do have to be in public school or a charter school. And then we don't have, like, we won't be able to tell you if you ask us, will I qualify for FAST? We can kind of give you a guesstimate, just, kind of based on what you tell us about if you're free or reduced lunch and how long you've been free or reduced lunch. But the state has to look at the actual record and they tell us if you qualify. But we should know if you qualify by the beginning of class. And that way you'll know if you get your classes for free or not. Okay, this is our important information page, and it's just reminders that you really need to think about. Email is very important. So many students don't check their email, and it's not really a thing that's part of your life right now, but it really needs to be part of your life. It's very, very important that you check your email every day. And really, you should put the app on your phone to give you notifications when you get emails from your college email so you don't miss anything. That's important. Make sure you can get into the email at least. If you don't put the app on your phone, at least make sure you could get into the email box and get your emails from your professors, because some of them only send it through the email. So if you can't get in there, you're not checking that, then you're not seeing any updates that your professor is giving you, or like if they're reaching out to you because you missed an assignment and they want to give you a chance to make it up, they'll only be emailing that email box. So your ACC advisor, we register you again. Don't try to register yourselves. You may end up in classes that you don't need, and we really don't want that to happen. So always let your advisor register you in classes while you're in dual enrollment. And if you ever need assistance, we're on your campus, so you can contact us directly, or you can email us and we'll help you out. These are the important dates that you need to remember. The payment deadline for fall is August 19th. And again, we're going to put this in the email that you're going to send out, and you're going to check your email because that's our official way of communication. So once you're registered, you'll see that the payment's due by August 19th. And then the spring payment is due by January 6th, and you won't get that spring email until probably December. And then the courses will begin on August 25th. So since the high school start a little earlier than that, most everybody will be in kind of like a study hall until the classes start. And again, in the spring, they start January 12th. And then the withdrawal deadline for the fall is November 20th. And then for spring, it's April 16th. And these, again, are all the dual enrollment advisors on all the campuses. So maybe take a screenshot of this page, but we also have this on our website if you forget who your advisor is or how to contact them.